for Bring Your Own Lunch. Personal stories about the business with my daddy, Dave T. Koenig.
All right, come on in, have a seat. Welcome. This is the Bring Your Own Lunch podcast at BringYourOwnLunch.com, the magic of iTunes, the majesty of Stitcher, and however you found your way to download this podcast, I thank you. As you heard at the top, my name is Dave T. Koenig. I'm an actor, writer, director, producer, comedian, all-around swell dude. I'm a heck of a whiz at the whole Twitter thing. And, of course, I'm the host of the podcast you're listening to right now. BYOL is the hashtag you can use if you want to get in touch, if you want to play along on any of the social medias out there. You can like us on Facebook.com/BringYourOwnLunch. Follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. And, if that doesn't do it, you can always go to the homepage, the website, the mothership, if you will, BringYourOwnLunch.com for all the information about the guests on this program, past, present, and presumably future. And, if you really want to, you can send me a personal email, Dave at BringYourOwnLunch.com. I love getting personal email. I also love getting personal with people in conversation. And this episode, I'm grateful to say we do get personal. This is episode 51, and this is the phase 2 of the BYOL attack on America and the world at large. And my guest is an appropriately awesome person with whom to share episode 51. Betsy Stover, who is a real stalwart performer on the New York improv scene for many, many years. She's now doing her thing out in California. She and her husband, Ari Voukidis, moved out there a couple of years ago. But I met Betsy when we worked on a commercial together. That commercial is going to be up on the website in the show notes for this episode. But I immediately, she and I hit it off, and we had a great time working on that commercial together. And I've stayed in touch, and I'm thrilled to hear all the good stuff that she's doing out in L.A., but I was very happy to hear that she'd be back in town briefly a couple weeks ago for the Del Close Marathon. And if you're not familiar with the Del Close Marathon, that is quite a to-do. It is, I believe, the 17th Del Close Marathon, so named for Del Close, the godfather of modern improv, long-form improv, the guy who made a name for himself, a legendary name for himself in Chicago. He is honored with this marathon of performances at various improv theaters in New York City every year, and Betsy and her husband came back to New York to perform in several of those and meet and greet and reconnect and see old friends and stuff like that. So while she was in town, I decided to make sure I grabbed her for an interview, and my instinct was that I'd hear a lot about her past with improv, and it is fascinating stuff. If you ever wanted to know what it was like at the very beginnings of UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, if you ever wanted to know what it was like before there was a theater itself, when they were just a performance group, and the four who came out of Chicago and started up everything here in New York, Amy Poehler, Matt Walsh, Matt Besser, and Ian Roberts, if you want to know what it was like to just get in on the ground floor of that phenomenon, well, Betsy's the perfect person to hear from, and she's got great stories about that. But in addition to all of that, she tells an amazing story about her childhood and her tale of perseverance and having to grow up real fast. It's as unique a story as I've had on this podcast, and I'm so grateful that she shared so much with me and ultimately with you, and I think you will really enjoy this interview. And we also have plenty of fun, and we recorded it at a place called Yotel in New York City, and I'm fascinated by that place now. It is the closest I've come so far to being in Tokyo, Japan, even though I was in the heart of New York City, and you'll hear us talk about it. But just know that the entire time I'm doing this interview, Betsy and I are sitting on opposite sides of the bed in the hotel room that she and her husband were staying in, and she's sitting in a chair, and I'm sitting on a metal box that holds my equipment. Sometimes in this life you have to improvise, and in the spirit of my guest, that's what we did. But the interview is great, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as I had being involved in it. For me, I'm finally able to tell you a little bit about what I was involved with. I don't want to overstate. You know, it's funny. We have this weird thing, actors in general, have this weird thing that we get super excited about what we're doing, But I think there are many of us who, at the very same time, don't want to get excited about what we're doing at all for fear of jinxing what we might be excited about. It's a weird dynamic. It happens in our brains, and I don't think there's anything anybody can do about it. It's just inherent in our personalities. But for, I guess about a month, I knew I was going to be doing one day of work on a film called Indignation. Indignation is based on the book that was written by Philip Roth. He wrote books like The Human Stain, and he also wrote this novel, and it was adapted by James Schamus. Now, James Schamus is a very, very, very amazingly successful producer and writer, and he's produced many of Ang Lee's films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Brokeback Mountain, and several others. You can look it up because his career is worth reading about. So here I was offered a role on a very, very, very cool film. And I was very happy to take the role at any size. So I was just glad to have the opportunity to work with them. And I ended up working with Logan Lerman, who is, at his age, done more than I may ever do in my career. He was Percy Jackson in the Percy Jackson films. He was in Fury with Brad Pitt. And as I've learned, he's got quite a following on Twitter, which was unbeknownst to me until a couple of days ago. But he's phenomenal and super talented. And at his age, it's like, man, I envy his future. The film also stars Sarah Gadon, who I had a chance to chat with. Even though we didn't work directly together, we spent a lot of time in the makeup trailer, which was very cool. And Linda Amond, who is in her own right a fantastic performer and has worked with everybody and has had just such a great career, and I was able to chat with her as well, so that was very, very cool. I'm excited about it. It'll probably come out next year. I can only hope I don't end up on the cutting room floor, although who knows. I'm just glad I got the chance to work on that film, and I appreciate everybody at A.V. Kaufman Casting for putting me in that one. So that's the high I'm riding off of right now. I don't even have a next project lined up film-wise or television-wise, so I'm going to be living off the glory of that one day for quite some time. And as soon as I'm able to, and they give me the okay, I will share more details about this film. But for now, just know that Indignation is coming, and I'm happy about it. I'm also happy about Banooba, Banooba.net, BANOOBA.net. That's the band that provides the music at the beginning, middle, and end of this show, and this show would not be the same without them. So therefore, I ask you to go to their website, download their music, buy tickets to see them live. They're awesome. They're just great. And their music is part of the fabric of this show, so support them the way they have supported me. And if you really want to support Bring Your Own Lunch, well, as we move into our second set of 50 episodes, now's when we really need some help to get the word out. And you can do that by going to iTunes or Stitcher and rating and reviewing and subscribing to the show and then telling friends about it. If you like what we're doing, if you enjoy hearing interviews with really interesting people in the field of entertainment, and you can tolerate my voice, please tell a friend about it, tweet about it. It's now apparent to me that if you tweet something online, it can be retweeted very fast. It depends on the subject matter, but my hope is that you may tweet out, hey, go listen to Bring Your Own Lunch, or tell people on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Vine or Periscope, whatever you choose to do in whatever format you choose to share, please do that, and I will be eternally grateful. All right, let's get into it with my old friend Betsy Stover. She's not old. I take that back. She is just terrific. She's funny, she's engaging, she's brave, and she's awesome, and I think you will enjoy this. So here's Betsy. Of all the room setups I've had to do so far, this is by far my favorite.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I was afraid you were going to say like the most awkward or awful.
No, because and we should explain that we are in the middle of well, you called it Hell's Kitchen, which is kind of fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, I guess it is now being known again as Hell's Kitchen, maybe because of Daredevil, but there was that attempt to call it Chelsea.
Definitely why I called it that.
Yeah, no, they call it what, Clinton. Did they rename it? It was something like that anyway.
Clinton?
Yeah. So we're at the infamous Yotel, or famous Yotel, I should call it now.
I don't know if it's either.
Yeah, but you explain it in your words what this hotel is all about.
All right. So it seems to me like it's a budget hipster hotel.
Yes.
And all of the rooms are sort of made in kind of like you were saying, like a kind of a Tokyo themed. It feels kind of like it's on a boat.
On a boat.
Like everything's kind of built into the wall, and everything's very like small and has a place for everything, and like tiny compartments. And I have a friend who's staying here. He has and it's just like a guy, and he has two friends that kind of like hopped on board. They were like, can we stay in your room? Yeah. So can you imagine 3 grown men in this room who are not romantically connected?
No, I can't. I can't imagine two people who are romantically connected lasting very long in this space, because it is small, but it's small. It's very functional.
It's very functional.
Yeah. It's kind of like either being in Tokyo or being on a ship.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's like. Yeah. I used to really romanticize those like tiny houses.
Yes.
And I feel like this is going to really work that out of my system.
You're like, now I need big expansiveness or this ain't going to work.
The American in me is really coming out. Yeah, I'm going to need some more space.
Especially because you're Midwestern, so you definitely are used to space, I would have to say.
It's true.
Yeah.
We're used to being able to spread out.
Spreading out is I'm sure
expansive people.
Yeah, I mean, I did not grow up. I mean, I grew up sort of in the middle on Long Island, where we did have a bunch of space, but we certainly didn't have as much as you probably had growing up. I mean, in your area, what was it like?
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I grew up in sort of various southwest suburbs, where when we moved around a lot, but the house I think of the most was in Excelsior, Minnesota, which was kind of like it's a small town. I feel like Sinclair Lewis, the author of, what is it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I recognize the name Sinclair Lewis, and the rest of my intelligence doesn't allow me to remember anything there.
He wrote a book, I think, about like the meat slaughter.
Slaughterhouse? No, he's not Slaughterhouse 5.
No.
The
like
Jungle?
Yeah.
That was Upton Sinclair.
Fuck, I think I'm thinking of Upton Sinclair.
Okay, that works.
I think he grew up there. Anyway, so yeah, it's like it was a small town. I don't think of myself as a small town girl, but we had like several acres that
belonged to you.
Yeah.
So when you went outside, you really went outside.
Oh yeah, there were like woods behind the house, and we would like run around in and explore. And
so like you're 8 years old. I mean, you had siblings. Yes.
Not until I was about 10.
Okay, so it came a little later. So by the time they were ready to play with you, you were on to being a high school person.
Yeah, I never really had a sibling that I played with. By the time I had siblings, it was like, take care of these siblings.
Yeah, it wasn't like peers at that point.
No, it was more like a weird mother relationship.
I can see that. Yeah. So who did you play? Were you almost had like a lonely child kind of a thing? Yeah. Well,
because I was essentially an only child.
Yeah.
For until I was about 10. Actually, when I was about 8, my mom. I had a foster sister for a year.
Wow. And that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've had knowledge of somebody who I could talk to who went through a foster system. I know people who were adopted, but not had a foster. So how did that work out?
Well, I have 3 adopted siblings, and we had a girl live with us for a year who was in the foster system. Yeah.
That's that's very, you could tell me completely differently, but it sounds incredibly noble and very giving for your family to do that for people.
Yeah, it was my mom. So it was just me and my mom. And then I had a babysitter who was like 13 who lived like a mile away, and she lived with a family. And I guess it wasn't working out. And my mom was like, can Tia, I think it was her name, come live with us? And I was like,
wow.
Okay. I think I felt a little weird about it because I was used to it just being us, and I wasn't used to having a sibling, let alone an older sibling.
Right. Someone who already had the dynamic of taking care of you.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, like a high status. Yeah, it was
really
weird.
Fascinating.
And she lived with us for a year, and it was sort of contentious between her and me. Like,
I can imagine, yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird dynamic to kind of figure out. And after a year, my mom was like, My mom has always given her kids like too much, or at least for me, she always gave me a little too much say and a little too much power, considering I was the child in the relationship.
That right there says a lot, but specifically, what do you mean?
So she was like, should Tia continue to live with us or should she go away?
And she literally gave you a vote. And
kind of the vote.
The vote.
Yeah.
And you said, Tia, take a hike.
Pretty much. I was like, I don't think this is working out. Which is horrible. It's horrible. I feel bad about it, but it was also like, this is not, it was clearly not functioning.
Yeah.
It was just, we fought all the time and it was a weird situation.
It couldn't have been good for anybody.
I think it was very good for her.
Well, if she was in a bad situation before, but it only maybe just was, incrementally better than her previous situation. But if she's fighting all the time, how great can that be for a 13-year-old?
Yeah. I don't know. I think she came from maybe like a messed up home where her mom gave her up really early and she was in and out of a lot of foster homes.
Oh, she was in another foster home
She was in and out. Yeah. It was another foster home.
It wasn't her.
No.
I understand now. Okay. Because it sounded, and again, it's my awful misinterpretation of someone telling me a story, but it sounded like she was like, maybe things didn't work out at her own home and you gave her a home to live in that was safer. But it didn't sound like that.
I think her mom was like a drug addict or something gave her up when she was like 3. Okay. And then she was just in and out of foster homes.
Got it.
And so, it's not going to, if that's what your reality is, it's not going to work out so well. You're not going to be a very stable person a lot of the time.
No. We're both parents and we know that, stability means everything to the kids.
Oh my God. I go away for a weekend. I come back. It's chaos.
Yes,
Imagine if I go away for 10 years.
You don't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing same about what you're coming back to if you kind of bug out for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I feel guilty about it, but also it's like, Mom, this is why you don't give a 9-year-old control over what happens to a teenage foster girl.
Yeah, a 9-year-old can barely accurately tend to the needs of like a kitten, much less a 13-year-old girl, and understand the ramifications of saying, I don't want to take care of this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel a little bad, but also I feel like I don't know. I've absolved myself of that guilt.
You should, absolutely.
Especially as a mom looking at that now.
Yeah. Well, it's a very odd situation. What in your childhood felt like it was more traditional to you? Did you have traditional stuff happen? My
parents got divorced when I was about 3. And I suppose like visiting my dad's family, they were kind of like the Flanders a little. So it was like a weird dip into like sort of conservative, traditional family in a way that I didn't normally experience it with living with my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom's a little crazy.
Yes.
So yeah. But I don't know. I don't think much of how I grew up was very, what was the word you used?
Well, I was trying to come up with
traditional.
Just a term that doesn't. I don't mean to in any way judge it. So I was trying to just come up with something that to you felt like
conventional.
Conventional. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Okay.
I would say my upbringing was not terribly conventional. I always had that's not even true. But I usually had a place to live.
Yes, okay.
And knew where my food was coming from and went to school and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So where did you find normalcy? I guess that was what I was...
School. My mom worked really hard to send me to a private school.
Oh, okay.
And there, I think that was where I got stability and normalcy.
Which is an interesting thing. Because for me, it was like, home felt a lot more stable. And then school was just like, I just don't know what end is up. So you found stability in school.
Mine was totally the opposite of that. Yeah. At home, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
If I do this, the response to it is always different every time. So
right.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Now, when you were in school, in private school, what kind of school was it? It was
an Episcopalian, like pre-K through 12, and it was very, I would say, academically rigorous.
Okay.
It was a prep school.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you stayed there, even though you said you moved houses a few times.
Yeah, we
you
moved
stayed
a
with
lot.
The same school?
Yeah. We left when I was 16.
Okay.
And when we were 16, my mom had some legal troubles.
Okay.
We ended up losing our house, our car, all of our possessions, and we were homeless for a time. And then my mom went to jail for 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was during my junior and senior years of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I in no way, like I told you before we started, I had no agenda.
Yeah, you did.
For
Yeah,
this.
you didn't know any of this.
No, but I mean, and I'm very happy and appreciate that you're kind of just like sharing all of this stuff. But it is fascinating to me, and to see how that maybe informs you as an artist.
Yeah.
So wow. So how did you handle life at 16 years old with even more instability than you could have ever imagined before, which was already fairly unstable, it sounded like?
I think at the time I just tried to like lock it down, keep my head down, and like, this isn't going to be forever. I'm going to power through this. I'm going to take care of shit. And I'm just going to try to achieve as like much as I can.
Where do you think that maturity came from? Because that is a very mature stance.
Remember how I told you that my mom kind of treated me like an adult?
Yeah, I guess.
That was always the fact. Like, even when I was little, she spoke to me like I was an adult, treated me like I was a peer, even when I was a very small child.
So you had a sense of communication on an adult level that most of us don't get, even now, even today.
Yeah. I remember as a kid feeling like I couldn't communicate with other kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. In school, when you said, like, I'm just going to get through this, what was on the other side for you? What did you think where did you think you were headed? Or did you have thoughts about, like, what life was going to be like when you were an actual adult as opposed to a very mature teenager?
I don't know. My mom always had very, like, high achieving hopes for me. She was like, you're going to go to Ivy League. You're very smart. You're going to do this. You can do this. You're better than these people. Like, so she always was like, go, go, go. And even when I was like, I'm afraid to apply to these colleges. I don't know how we're going to pay for it. Ultimately, that was very true. I made it through 2 years of college and then couldn't take on any more debt. Wow. I already had so much debt.
Where did you go?
I went to New York University.
Oh, okay. So that's how you got out here, I assume.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. What did you plan to do at NYU? What did you come to the NYU to do?
To go to acting school.
Okay, so you had that thought in your head.
Way.
Did you ever think of that prior? Because you had so many thoughts of so many things that are pretty heavy for a kid. When did acting come into the consciousness, into your consciousness? I
always liked performing. And my mom was an opera singer when I was growing up. Okay. So I grew up in sort of the theater world.
I don't mean to belabor that.
No.
But tell me, do you mind talking a little bit about your mom's history a little bit? Because, I mean, adding the opera singer element only just takes us to a different level.
Totally.
So tell me about her a little bit.
Okay, so my mom, she grew up, she came from sort of trailer trash in Ohio.
Okay.
And her parents were... I think they did their best, but they were both working parents and kind of abusive. Mm-hmm. And my grandma was very supportive of my mom's creative endeavors. And so my mom started singing, and I think she got attention and affirmation from that.
Sure.
And so she ended up going to college, I think, to pursue music theory and study voice.
Wow.
And that's where she met my dad, who was essentially in seminary to be a Lutheran minister.
Wow.
and then they got married, and she still tried to sort of pursue an opera career. So she was in the Minnesota, I want to say the Minnesota State Opera, I think is what it was called.
Yeah,
she did a bunch of opera work and performed in Minneapolis. And
wow.
Later on, she would go on some tours and stuff. But, it's hard when you have kids.
Yeah,
it's hard, especially if you're a single parent, to pursue a career in the arts.
Yeah. It's hard enough to pursue a career in a 9-to-5 job. And the instability of what we do is just thrown on top. I mean, my wife goes away for like a week for work. And I'm like, I don't know how people do this indefinitely. And I have such respect and understanding of how tough that job is. And the ones who do it well are like superheroes to me who can do that as single parents. Did you ever see your mom perform?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Ever since I was a baby. My mom says that when she when I was a newborn, she would take me to opera rehearsals and stuff like that. And she would put me down and I would cry. She would pick me up and she would be singing full blast. Like if you've ever been near someone singing opera,
it's pretty loud.
Really fucking loud because you're supposed to fill up a whole opera house.
Yeah, not a lot of microphones are expected in opera.
No, and it is now, which I think is
that's a whole different
fucking lame.
Yeah, that's a whole different deal.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
The Carmen I saw was very microphone enhanced, I think.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of opera when I live in LA now, and I've been seeing a lot of opera there, and it's all mic'd, and I think that's super stupid.
I just imagine like them getting into the whole thing where it's like they start doing the whisper singing and like it's totally effective.
I feel like a big part of being an opera singer is your job is to make a big sound.
Like the people who like came in third on American Idol doing opera.
Oh God!
This week, Constantine Maroulis does. I don't even Carmen. I already said Carmen. I feel like I failed a little bit there, but okay. Oh,
but yeah. So she would pick me up, and it's sort of like being held by someone who's screaming, and I would fall right asleep.
It's got did she perform with you while she was pregnant with you?
Probably.
Do you think that maybe had some semblance of a calming effect on you?
Absolutely, 100%.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you get soothed when you listen to opera now?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I still do feel sometimes like I'll fall asleep.
Well, a lot of people think that too. All right, so
but yeah, so I would go and I remember even just being like a kid, like 5 or whatever, like playing in the aisles of an opera house with like maybe 1 or 2 other kids.
Oh, wow.
While people were practicing and rehearsing on the stage, and I remember going on tour with my mom and like staying in like flea bag motels with like vibrating beds that you put a quarter in, and I had a ton of like what we called crazy uncles, which really just meant gay man.
Oh, okay. All right.
Growing up, so it was like crazy Uncle Larry, crazy Uncle Ed, and that was just like
anybody Paul Lynde might have played.
Precisely.
Yes, it totally makes sense.
And flamboyant gay opera singer guy.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it all seems to really inform what could end up being a life in the arts for you, and it sounds like it did.
It actually, it makes total sense that I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I guess I'll just go into the arts.
Yeah.
Because that seems most normal.
You know, and I've talked about this with so many people before, and it relates to me in that, you know, my dad was an entrepreneur, and he never really made a big deal about the fact that money would come and money would go, money would come, money would go. He just tried to stay as consistent as possible. But through osmosis, I think I just kind of picked up on the idea that you have a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. And so that's comforting to me. Like that feels normal.
Yeah.
So I think, and somebody else put it, you kind of have to be a little bit of a gambler to be in this business.
That's
and
so
I think
true.
Comfort in instability is a major asset for somebody who can handle the rigors of this.
Well, and I do improv comedy, and I've realized that I think because I feel safe in a environment full of chaos.
Yes.
That's almost Zen-like in a weird way.
Yes.
That I can be inside that sort of like this bubble of chaos, and I can be in the middle, just like. It's a different level of what we're talking about. Like not only do you take all the stability out of it, but you take all the safety nets away and are just on stage with nothing. Yeah, let's roll. Let's do it. Yeah. And that's a mentality that I think makes it work for some people and make it not work for some people. But I want to get there. So you were at NYU. Mm-hmm. You said you stopped after 2 years. How far into a program did you end up getting? I got in. I left after my sophomore year. I was at the Playwrights Horizons Theater School. Okay, and you got. Does that start freshman year? Or that? Freshman year. Okay, so you were in 2 years worth of training at that point. Okay. Yeah. So when you couldn't finish there, what happened? What'd you do? Well, the whole time, so before I even left Minnesota, I was doing a lot of improv comedy at the Brave New Workshop. And where's that? It used to be called Dudley Riggs, but the Brave New Workshop was in Minneapolis, and it was a sort of sketch comedy, satire, improv theater. Kind of like Second City-ish? Yeah. Okay. It was totally like a Second City. And Minneapolis had a pretty big improv scene even going back to the 80s, right? Oh, huge. Oh, improv scene? I don't know maybe about 90s? That. I'll be honest, it wasn't until the huge theater opened up.
Yeah.
I want to say like, what year was that? I'll just say like 2005.
Oh, okay. So it was that long.
It wasn't until then that it was really like happening.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of, there was comedy sports.
All right. That's maybe what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They had that kind of like improv, that short form improv,
Yeah.
the thing that is closer to, I don't know, traditional
Whose Line Is It
comedy.
Anyway?
Whose Line Is It Anyway? And certainly long form improv hadn't really like taken over the industry.
Yeah. There was no long form in Minneapolis. Not really. It was a little
when
bit.
you were doing it, you were doing short form?
Yes, I was doing
okay.
short form at like comedy sports.
Okay, so you're in New York, NYU's happening, and you started to do improv already?
Yeah, so as soon as I came, even before I went to college, I was like, I'm either going to go to Chicago. Mm-hmm. I didn't get into Northwestern. Mm-hmm. And study there, or I'm going to go to New York and I'm just going to like make it happen. And I had heard that there was this place called the Upright Citizens Brigade, or this team of people, the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Right.
And so my friend Colton Dunn, who now is a performer, totally like he's a writer on Key and Peele, and he's on a bunch of stuff. He's amazing and hilarious. He was like, you got to go check them out if you ever go to New York. So I went and I checked them out and I was like, fuck yeah, like I'll do anything to be near this or just like support it.
And what year was this when you first went there?
It would have been the fall of 97.
So this predates, does that predate the first theater?
Yes.
So you went when they were just a performance group.
Yeah.
Where were they performing then?
There was a place called Solo Arts Group. Mm-hmm. I think it was on like, I want to say West 17th Street. It was just off of Union Square.
Okay.
Maybe it was 18th Street. And you had to, it was like a 4th floor walk up.
Wow.
And it was just this little black box. Mm-hmm. You could only have so many people on the stairs at one time because they were afraid they were going to collapse.
Now that's old school, like down and dirty theater.
Oh, yeah.
Which, what we can get into it, but
they used to rent it out on off hours for sex parties.
I remember hearing about that.
Yes.
So people, that you could either go see improv or take your lady friend for the hour.
For the hour. You got a hooker to take to a sex party. Right. I feel like that defeats the idea of a sex party a little.
Well, I'm like outing myself as having more knowledge than I probably should, but just from reading. You're books. We're all books. I would love to claim I am far more interesting than I really am, but what I'm aware of is these places. If you're a woman, come right in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But if you're a dude by yourself, it's like come back when you have a girl with you.
That makes a ton of sense.
So
otherwise it's just a sausage party and like
that's right. That
makes sense.
Which is appealing for some, but I guess people who are looking for not sausage would then need to provide
clams.
Oh, brother. So who was in the cast when you saw them?
Well, I saw them. I saw the main UCB. So Amy Poehler, Matt Besser, Matt Walsh, and Ian Roberts.
So it was the four who went on to found the theater and all that stuff.
And then whoever they were on stage with would have probably been like Kate Walsh, who was on Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, yeah.
Probably Katie Roberts, Ian Roberts' wife. Mm-hmm. I probably saw Sarah Thayer and Andy Richter on there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, a lot of the sort of old school people at UCB, like Billy Merritt or Sean Conroy, Andy Daly, they would have probably been up there.
Who have all in various ways gone on to big things in the business, which is pretty amazing. And you felt that instantaneous, like that's where I want to go.
Yes.
Which it's kind of like you landed very well considering what happened with NYU, because I mean nowadays they write about UCB as being one of the top theater schools in the country. Yeah. Even though it's not a traditional college in any way, shape, or form. It actually is an
accredited It's accredited now. It's actually,
see, that's new to me.
It's technically maybe the biggest comedy school in the world.
Which is amazing. Yeah. But they don't have core curriculum like that you'd find at a liberal arts school. So it is a conservatory still in that sense. But now if you go there, you kind of have a rubber stamp of having gone through a major theater school. But back then, you were walking up like one flight of stairs that may have collapsed and fallen onto sex parties. So you kind of ended up getting the degree
absolutely
that means more right now than almost any other acting school in the world, which is kind of amazing if you think about it that way.
I really got in on the ground floor.
Yeah. Did you start taking classes, or did they have classes, or what did they do?
Yeah. So I was going to college full time, of course. And then I didn't have any surprise. I was super broke, what with my mom having just gotten out of jail.
No, you've brought that back. Do you want to just kind of like give detail there, or do you want to not give details?
I can give details. I'm an open book.
All right, let's go.
When I was much younger, I didn't like talking about it.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
I felt like I was betraying my mother, and now I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, this is your journey. My history. My journey.
It is true.
I'm allowed to talk about it.
Well, okay. As much as you feel comfortable, I'm curious to know what happened, since it seems like there is a story there.
Oh, with my mom actually going to jail?
Well, yeah.
Like, she was running an adoption agency. I only know as much as she's essentially told me. Okay. Because I was in high school and my world was coming apart. So I didn't have time to like read papers. And she was also like, don't watch the news. Don't read the papers. Right. So, and
it was that big a story in Minneapolis at the time. Yeah,
it was a big deal. So she was running an adoption agency, which she had opened after she adopted my brother, John, from Honduras. And I guess it was kind of a big bureaucratic mess. And she was like, fuck this. I can do better. I'm going to open up an adoption agency myself, and I'm going to do better. Okay. So that people don't have to go through what I went through. And so she opened it up. It was very successful. And then to hear her tell it, the government came to her and was like, we don't like what you're doing. It's more successful. Essentially, it was like more successful than other big agencies that had more support. And they were like, you need to make these changes. And she was like, I don't need to make those changes. Like, fuck you. Oh, and they were like, no, fuck you. We're going to accuse you of these things. And you better make these changes. And she was like, no, I don't know. So anyway.
So from that description, from an outsider's perspective, it sounds like she was trying to fight the good fight and lost.
That's my sense of it.
Yeah. So it's not. I'm glad I asked the question actually, because it takes away any sense of nefarious activity.
Yeah, and I don't get the sense that she was doing anything on purpose.
Yeah, it wasn't like she was like smuggling like cocaine into the country or embezzling funds from poor kids or something. No. So it sounds like she just got. She just tipped the wrong, or tripped on the wrong foot, so to speak.
That's the way I understand it from talking to her. Yeah. And so she, and so then they were like, you need to, they took her to court. They froze all of the assets coming in and out of the agency. And so of course that froze all of our personal assets. And then she couldn't pay anyone who was working for her. Right. And then they were like, you need to say you did these things. You need to say you're guilty, and we're going to put you away for a very long time. Wow. And she was like, well, then I guess I'm going to say that I'm guilty. Wow. Because that's how our justice system works. So they put her, so she pled guilty to mail fraud, which is one of those things that mail fraud is like... anyone can be kind of convicted of mail fraud. I get the sense.
Not to make light of it, but I just learned that if you try to do that trick where you put an envelope in the mailbox without a stamp and the return address is the address you meant to send it to, that's mail fraud. You can go to jail for that if someone catches you. Yeah, we all stole from Columbia House. It's a thing.
When people talk about like, I mean, this is a whole other thing, but like when people are like, I gotta have a gun in case the government comes for me, it's like, you idiot motherfucker. If the government wants you, they can have you. Yeah. And I know that for a fact because they tore apart my family. Like we lost everything. You just, I don't know. So we lost everything. We lost our house, all of our assets, our car. We had to live with a friend for a while, and eventually we were just totally broke. And then my mom went to jail, and I lived with my best friend and his family for a year, and then we couldn't afford, of course, for me to keep going to that school. Right. So I did this thing that they have in Minnesota called post-secondary, where you can go to college instead of high school if you qualify. Okay. So I went to a community college to complete my junior year, and then I went to the University of Minnesota for my senior year, and that's how I got my high school credits.
That's pretty. I mean, I know that painting such a broad brush on your history is not doing it any service, but it is amazing to consider where you've come and how far you've gotten. And the fact that you have a really strong head on your shoulders is awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I think when you go through tough times like that, it's you're either going to fall backwards or you're going to fall forwards. And it seems like you fell way forward.
Although I think years later, I think it all kind of caught up to me.
Okay, so we picked up the story in New York?
Yeah, sure.
Does that dovetail nicely?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you're at NYU, you're starting to take classes, and you said you didn't have any money for classes. So how did you work things out?
So I said, can I intern? And they were like, we've never had an intern. We don't know what you would do, but sure, you can intern for us for free classes.
And it's that puts you on a very, very unique level because interning at improv schools and theaters is kind of like the thing to do. But you were doing it before anybody else. You literally are the first person who did that for UCB.
Yeah, it's a very competitive program now.
Yeah, that's a cool distinction.
Thank you.
They should name it the Betsy Stover internship program.
I agree, Dave.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write a letter of sorts, or this is my letter. UCB, I hope you're listening, and if you are, you need to recognize this woman and the path that she took to get there, and the ground that she broke for you.
Yeah.
And do right by her.
They probably never would have figured it out without me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave them something.
Yeah.
Now it's time to take back.
Yeah, like
for Christ's sake.
Probably like in the form of a plaque.
Would that do enough for you?
It'd start. It would
be a good start. And then like 5% off the top, right?
Yeah.
5% of the gross?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so that's and I'm as a finder's fee UCB, I'm only going to charge you $15,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Sure.
Yeah. No, not you. No, UCB.
No, yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. UCB's accredited. They can afford it. All right, so you managed to find a way to get it done, which is a really good career advice for anybody. Like find your way in, and you can figure things out from there.
That's something my mom did teach me, and it didn't always work out. But she was like, just get your foot in the door, find a way to make happen what you need to have happen, and don't take no for an answer. Yeah,
and I think for young people that works really, really well because you had the benefit of
youth and energy and
energy and time and fewer responsibilities and all that good stuff, so that you were able to just say, I'll show up, I'll do whatever you need me to do, you just got to give me something in return. It doesn't have to be money. It's like, well, gold, boom, right there. Yeah, teach me. So who taught your first class?
Ian Roberts,
who is a legend in improv,
an amazing teacher, and performer.
Everything I've ever heard about him, I've never met the man, but everything I've ever heard about him has been incredibly positive and echoes exactly what you just said. But having never gone through the experience, what made him so good?
Well, all of them have obviously like a passion and enthusiasm and positivity for improv. But Ian, he's like he's like an improv robot. Like he's able to take it down to its most base, almost like algorithm or mathematical, it's almost like a mathematical problem. He can kind of see it in those terms. And so he's able to kind of parse it down like that and present it to you as a student so that you understand it in a very basic form, so that then as you grow as a performer, you can add flourish to it. Does that make sense?
It does. And what's interesting to me is thinking of the fact that was almost 20 years ago. And my guess is that he didn't even understand what he was teaching as well as he does now.
Although even then, I look back at it now, and I think how amazing it is that they all went and learned from Del Close and were able to, as a team, take their own sort of twist on what he was teaching them, make their own. They have their own comedic theory based off of what he taught them, and they were able. The fact that they were able to do that at all, I think, is mind-boggling. Yeah. And they were all in like their 20s and or maybe very early 30s. Yeah, it kind of in a way, being at my stage in life, it almost makes me a little bit sick. Yeah. Because it's like I think of my like career accomplishments and what I have stamped on in this industry, and I'm like, I haven't done a shred of anything compared to what people have done at such an early age. And you know, it's where I think, you know, I still want to do that, but it's like with all the
with all the responsibilities we talked about, where it's like, I can't go intern now. It's like, it's a little late for that business.
I feel you. Yeah. It's sort of like, well, here I am.
Yeah.
I've dug myself into this. So here's where I'll stay. I better make this work.
And there is no turning back. We can't turn back now.
I mean, you can't. I mean, people do.
Yeah,
but,
of course they do.
Man,
but...
I don't know about you. I don't have the hustle in me, especially after you have kids. You're fucking tired.
And to do what? To do what?
To have an Etsy store. Yeah.
Which is, by the way, at etsy.com/Dave. So who were the people who were going through the program that in that early stage with you?
Oh, well, I'm trying to think. I think in my class I had Donna Fineglass. Let's see. I think Rob Riggle was in my class.
Okay.
Who else? I'll tell you who was sort of in my generation.
Yeah. Not necessarily that specific class, but yeah.
Julie Brister. Let's see. Who else am I? Of course. Paul Scheer was around. Mm-hmm. Aaron Bergeron was around. Andrew Secunda had already been there for a while. All those other people I told you that I saw at ASCAT had been there for a while.
Yeah.
Who else was in my generation? Danielle Schneider was around. She was right above me. My husband Ari Vukidis was right around my generation.
Because it seems like, I mean, you seem
Biscone.
like, you seem like that first wave of graduates who came out of there. And for you, in your perspective, when you watch your kids grow up, you don't see the incremental changes day to day, but you go away for a week and it's like, what the hell? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Do you get that sense a lot, seeing what happens, like, or are you as connected to the people now as you ever, needed to be able to say, like, okay, I saw that move. Or do you get that sense of surprise at where people are going with this stuff?
I think I'm always surprised by where we're changing and moving. And I feel like I'm always... and I catch myself also as like a crotchety old curmudgeon being like, wow, they shouldn't be doing this, and here's why. And, this is bad and lazy. And, of course.
Give me an example. That's a great. I mean, I could interpret that in a number of different ways, but I'd like to know like what you look at and you're like that's. In what sense are you saying that's bad? Well, and you don't have to be specific, but
I see often I will notice a lot more emphasis, and maybe this is also because I live in LA and everything's slightly different. I know that in LA there's a lot more emphasis on product, on the laugh, as opposed to the sort of the process of like we can really take our time and be super real and really take our time to get to the funny part, and then we can be very judicious as to how we drop that funny in there. I feel like even then I'm thinking back to how we used to play 1,000 years ago, and it was really wham bam thank you ma'am. So even that, I mean, gosh, I feel like I'm not able to.
It's interesting because I mean it is such a growing and evolving art. It's
always changing,
and it by nature is going to be that way.
I'm not a fan of sort of this like Tim and Eric influence.
It's really funny. At this point, it'll be a couple of weeks ago. I spoke with Charles Gould, who's a comic, and we went in a lot of depth about that thing. Yeah, and we kind of called it blob comedy.
Yeah, it's like Dadaism.
Yeah. It's anti-comedy comedy. Yes. And it's very hard to put your finger on.
Maybe people used to feel that way about Steve Martin.
It's very possible, yeah, because there was and we talked about the fact that there was a wave in the 80s of stand-up comedians who were doing non-comedy comedy, like Emo Phillips and Judy Tenuta. And
I used to love her.
Yeah, but her act wasn't an act in the purest sense. And they went away so far away from what traditionally is considered comedy that it was hard to follow up. Yes. And they went away for a while. And they've had their resurgences and stuff like that. But I think that Tim and Eric thing feels very similar to me to what Emo Phillips was doing with stand-up in the 80s. And I wonder where it's going to go, especially that we've seen it seep into mainstream everything.
Although it's all like cyclical, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
It feels very strange and punk rock, and it makes no sense. And then it kind of, the wave like doubles back over.
Yes.
And then you're right, it kind of all gets absorbed into everything.
And by, when you say punk rock is a great way to put it, because it doesn't feel like punk rock anymore when you're seeing it in commercials and you're seeing, I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if in 2016, there will be presidential candidates doing Tim and Eric type material in their election, their campaign drives.
Yeah.
Because it becomes such a common thing that it gets kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bastardized by
watered down.
Watered down. Yeah. So, and I came up with this, I thought, and I'm repeating it because I'm a genius, but, no, but everything's a comedy and nothing's funny.
Oh. Everything's a comedy and nothing's funny?
Yeah. Because, you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's kind of funny. But are you laughing?
I don't. Maybe I'm just 80 years old. I don't find that shit funny.
Yeah. Maybe we are just getting old.
But I've always been that way. I think anything that's like too silly and too meaningless.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, I was like, why?
Yeah.
I like comedy to mean something.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
I'm a big fan of comedy as a means for social change.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing comedy has done in the last 20 years is become prominent in the discussion of meaningful issues. I mean, The Daily Show and Colbert and everything like that.
Yeah. Weekend Update, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I could never have gotten through the Bush years, if I was a child the other time. But if it hadn't been for Colbert Report and Daily Show, putting words to how I was feeling and what I was going through.
Yes, and not only that, countering the messages coming from the other side.
Yes.
In the guise of news.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we've needed comedy in that sense, and comedy has followed tradition when it's dealt with social issues. It's very hard to do that sort of Dada-esque comedy talking about serious issues. You have to kind of stay with set up punchline, or else it's just too much to absorb all at once. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't imagine too many cooks making a social commentary on the presidency of George W. Bush.
But I think they could have made it work. But instead, maybe to me, I just feel like, well, that was a waste. like anything, even if a sitcom or something that's like funny, if it's devoid of meaning,
yes,
I lose interest very quickly. I'm
Absolutely.
like, oh, it's funny, but also so what? Like, lots of things are funny. Let's move on. I want to hear something interesting.
Yeah,
I want to hear what you think.
And I think, and I've said this before about comedy, and I probably said it on the show, and I'm starting to repeat myself massively because I'm on 50 episodes and such. But
this is how Mark Maron feels. Yeah.
Until he gets to interview the president, then he's like, oh yeah, I am pretty good at this.
Yeah. I wonder how that's going to change that podcast.
Yeah, exactly right. Have you been president before? No, then I'm sorry. We don't want to see you on the show.
Jeez, Mark Maron, you have not been cranking out episodes very fast lately.
You got through Carter, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's not really many left.
And then just 2 very angry Bush episodes.
Right. So, like you said, like, you want to have resonance, and no matter what you're seeing, you want it to mean something. You want it to hit you in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And even if it doesn't make you laugh, if it made you think, if it made you feel something, because nobody ever walked out of a theater going, God damn it, they made me feel too much.
Yeah.
It just never happened. So, yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. When you were learning, and I'm going to turn it back on you because I've gabbed enough. But when you were learning this stuff, when did it start to hit you? Like, this is, okay, I get it. Because improv is one of those things that's very hard to kind of get that light click off in your head.
When did I get it?
Yeah,
improv?
When did you feel like you started to get it?
Well, I mean, that was all a big part, I think, of going to the UCB, because I'd done short form in Minneapolis, and I remember feeling very much like there's something lacking from this. I think a big turning point for me was I did a short form show in which I played, I think I was RuPaul. I think I was RuPaul, and I said something about how I was gay. And I got like noted by my director afterwards. Like, you really, essentially was like, you put too fine a point on the fact that he was gay. Like, they were uncomfortable with the fact that I had talked about it or something, and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, really?
Like, fuck you.
And where's he now?
What?
And where's he now?
Yeah. And so I was like, I really want to do long form. I had a sense that it was something I could use where I could, as a platform, to express myself about politics and gender and actually enact a very, very small part of social change and be funny, because that's what I felt like I was pretty good at.
Yeah. When did you, like, we were in the classes and at what point you left NYU and you just kept with UCB?
Yeah, even when I was a student there, I was doing improv seven days a week.
So you were able to perform. Where did you find, where were they performing back then before the theater actually opened?
At Solo Arts.
Okay.
And when we weren't performing there, we might do shows other places, just like little places. Even if there was like a European hostel in Chelsea that we would perform at, and rehearsing. So yeah, that took up seven nights a week usually. And then what?
Well, no, I was just asking about.
And then eventually we got our own theater.
Right.
Sometimes we do 3 shows a night. There weren't very many people around to do the shows.
It's so interesting to think of this city. Well, it's interesting to think of this city in 1997 anyway, let's say. But to think of this city without the kind of hub of improv theaters, without knowing where an improv show will be tonight, is a very strange concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, where improv is going to happen, like, tonight without even thinking about it.
In many different places. Yeah. Yeah, and back then that wasn't the case. So by the time I left NYU, it would have been about 2000, I think.
Okay.
And by then we had, I think, our own theater on West 22nd Street. And we did shows there all
And you
the
were
time.
just doing shows and still taking classes, or by that point were you done?
I think I was still taking classes.
Okay.
Because I was an intern.
Right.
And I was also like a house manager and stuff. And then I think January of 2001 is when I started teaching. So I was also coaching and stuff as a way to make money.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, as far as like when it really clicked in for me, I don't know. I have a very firm memory of my very first, my 101 grad show.
Oh, well, tell me about that then.
That I remember I helped find a simple game pattern in our grad show, and I provided the blackout line.
Nice.
And it was like, like everyone it was like I was in a fucking hard shell taco commercial. I felt like everyone was just lifting me up on their shoulders, and we were like, exactly, yay! Powdered wigs, yay! Like that was my line.
Was that it?
Powdered wigs,
nice.
It was like, oh, somebody, these powdered wigs. And everyone was like, yeah!
See that? Well, my next question to you was going to be, we're talking about like 18 years worth of experience with improv and UCB. And you're still at it. You're still at it strong. You're here in town for the Del Close Marathon.
Yeah.
What about it kept you there? Because I'll say for me, my own experience, I burned out really quick. And I was out as quickly as I was in, and I haven't really gone back. Mm-hmm. What for you kept it going?
It's been a lot of things. I mean, one, it's just a community. It's a community of people that I feel like I'm a part of, that I've spent my entire adult life a part of. And so at this point, I feel like I'm unable to really function in any other kind of social group. I think I'm a real weirdo probably in any kind of other group of people. So I've had actually a real gift of like being of growing up in a real weird cloistered environment where we're all improvisers and we're all weirdos and we're all funny, and like that's just how everyone is, and everyone kind of understands each other. Anytime I'm in any other kind of social situation, I'm like, oh fuck, I do not belong here. I'm a real weirdo and everyone knows it. But other than that, my own relationship with improv has changed over the years. Mm-hmm. It's always been a reliable way of me making money also.
Sure.
But also I like that I've been able to be witness to improv changing, that I've been able to experience my own relationship with improv changing, that as a teacher, I can enact change and make sure that that I'm helping carry on what I think is the UCB's idea of what improv should be. And I think it's a really good idea. I think it's kind of the best way to improvise. I do, actually. I don't know why I'm saying kind of. I think it's the best way to improvise.
I think we all do that. We all put that kind of in there because we don't want to be like, I do that all the time. Yeah. But go ahead. I didn't mean to derail, but I totally understand why you do that.
Yeah. So I think, I think the way that we improvise is the best. And I think being a teacher and being a performer is the way that I make sure that that we all recognize that and that we all carry on that sort of message, that artistic message of like, this is how to do it. I just think it's a beautiful community and it's a beautiful art form. And I'm just so happy and proud to be a part of it.
Wow. Now, in a perfect world, I would have just ended there. But you did mention, and I did want to talk about it, like you'd said that at some point during your course of improv, that's when all the stuff from earlier in your life kind of hit home. Yeah. What happened?
I'd say like after 9/11, which, by the way, morning of 9/11, where was I? UCB Theater. Watch the buildings go down at UCB Theater.
When you say something like that, it does kind of make my earlier question much easier to understand for myself. When you know where you were at that point, and everybody does know where they were at the moment they found out that was going on, those feelings are so strong that you can't escape them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're going to be with us forever. Mm-hmm. For you...
I saw a plane yesterday and I was like, ugh.
Oh, yes. Well, you haven't been in New York as much. Yeah. You kind of forget how close they get.
Yeah.
But you being there at that time of the morning, in that environment, speaks volumes about what that place is for you, I think. I think if you were home, you would know you were home, but you knew you were there with those people, and that it sounds like that has been your adoptive home.
Yeah.
So when things kind of got bad, like what did happen?
I think I had a real bad problem with alcohol. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of really bad money problems that caught up with me from all of that student debt and that sort of thing. That was like a dragon that was just chasing me for years. So it was like money problems, alcohol, stress from 9/11. And I think a lot of post-traumatic stress from being a teenager and dealing with my mom going to jail and me taking care of younger siblings. I have 6 younger siblings, and 3 of them were my mom's kids. So taking care of those 3 kids in a very mothering role that I was not ready for.
Right. Now, when you said 3 were your mom's kids, the other 3 were
are my dad's and stepmom's kids.
Of course. Okay.
So the Flanders.
Got it. Rod and Todd.
And so my mom had 3 adopted kids who were much younger than me that I had a very sort of, at the time, maternal kind of role with. Yeah. And so when my mom went to jail and when she was dealing with all that stuff, I had to... I was even, for my junior year of high school, I was out of school the beginning of the first half of my junior year, just kind of taking care of the kids. And so that was a fucking nightmare. And so I think when you look at all of your other peers and they're all like, my dad bought me a car and prom is so much fun. And these are the best years of our lives. And I was like, I had my head down, trying to take care of my family, trying not to freak the fuck out because my life was in shambles.
Right.
I think it all caught up with me in my 20s because it was like I had been running a marathon for years.
Yeah, nobody can hold on to that and it just will disappear into the ether. It's going to catch up to you at some point, especially you being as young as you were, even when it caught up to you. Like if all that stuff had happened to you at 23, 24, it still would have been overwhelming.
Yeah.
But at 16, 17, just forget it. It's not fair, so.
And it's very isolating.
Yeah. I'm sure.
No one, it felt like, at least, I still feel that way. Like no one can really understand.
No, it's a very unique story and it's certainly yours and yours to tell for sure. But hearing the story about where you were on 9/11, tells me that you did have a support system, which I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, A, got you through it, and B, provided the structure that you didn't have. You knew where you were going to be when, and you knew that every day. And then C, kept you from falling off the cliff. I mean, am I right about that?
Yeah, it was always a constant. I mean, even when I was falling off a cliff, luckily I had my husband. When
did you guys meet?
We met at UCB. And we probably met around, I want to say 98.
Okay, so real early into it.
Yeah, we were friends for like a year and a half.
Right.
And then we started dating, and we were together we were probably together for like, I want to say 7 years before we got married.
Yeah. But you had established a lot of strong emotional ties there, and it does. Yeah. The D part of what I was saying, if that doesn't sound too weird, is that helps explain what's carried you through. I mean, this
why I'm still here,
why you're still here, why you still have such strong positive feelings, and not that you ever should have negative feelings, but what kept you there while so many other people like me got burned out. Because there is more in it for you than just, hey, I'm going to go up on a stage and be funny. This is a lifestyle for you.
You're very right.
Yeah, something that I didn't necessarily have for myself, and it's interesting to me that you had that experience, especially considering it's that chaos that we're talking about. You found stability in a chaotic, intentionally chaotic environment. It's really interesting.
You're right, and I found a group of people who embraced chaos and knew how to deal with it.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, you are here for the Del Close Marathon, but we're recording this, and it hasn't started yet. Oh. Right?
Yeah. It starts today at, it starts in an hour.
It starts in an hour. Okay, well, we better wrap up. But given the fact that this is going to be released on the website and such, and on iTunes and Stitcher, why I said that, I don't know. But let's pretend it did happen. How did it go?
Oh. It was a ton of fun. I'm so tired.
You've been to a bunch of these before. What do you expect this to be like? What's typical of the Del Close Marathon?
A ton of fun. Doing a lot of standing and being too hot. Seeing a ton of friends that you haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
Staying out way too late. Drinking too much. Seeing a ton of shows and never feeling like you saw enough. Doing a ton of shows, and but I feel like doing the shows is always so secondary. It's really just like seeing people and having fun.
It's kind of like an annual college reunion, right?
It is. It really is.
I've never actually been to any show or any part of it at all.
It's like people come from all over the world.
Yeah, I know it's a phenomenon, and I know it's a huge, huge thing. And people who are fans, their experience is so unique, and the people who are performers, for them, it's a unique experience that sometimes crosses over, sometimes not. But again, being on the outside, sort of looking in, and having had a very short experience with improv, it's a very interesting and unique thing. It's almost like Comic-Con.
Yeah, it is.
Only the comic people are not exactly related to the vendor people, and there's a lot of different agendas going on at a Comic-Con, but you guys are there all doing kind of the same stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've never been to Comic-Con, but I get the sense it's a really similar idea. Yeah. But you're right; it's not just like the vendors and the fans.
Yeah,
it's all kind
purely
of mixed
about
together,
doing that stuff that we're talking about, that improv stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's always been sort of like the experience of it is what's fun. It's rarely like, oh, we have to have a great show, or it has to be perfect, or anything like that. A lot of it. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of it has, I think, over the years has been like, we're enduring this. Like, it's fun, but also like, oh gosh, we're so tired. Like, we're enduring this. I'm still hungover from last night. We're doing a show. I'm going to live through this show.
You're not going to get a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my experience now, I have 2 kids. Yeah. I'm in my 30s. Like, my experience at the Del Close Marathon is very different than it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be like, we'd just go to someone's house and crash out for 2 hours and then go back. back and drink and do a show, and we were high, and it was different than now.
Right.
Where now I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to go back to the hotel and have a little me time.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll see a show, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world. And
Has being in LA made it easier or harder to recapture how it used to be when you were doing this stuff in the mid 2000s?
It's hard to answer because I feel like everything about me has changed so much.
Yeah.
Just my priorities and what I want is so much different now.
Yeah. Would that have changed the same being here or being in LA, or is it because you're in LA?
Oh, I think being in LA does change it. I mean,
Yeah.
it changes you. It makes you soft. I'll be honest. It makes you so soft because life is like comfortable and nice.
Okay.
When I lived in New York, I felt like the word schlep was a part of my everyday existence.
Okay, sure.
And I feel like since I moved to LA almost 2 years ago, I haven't uttered that word once.
And nothing's a schlep.
Nothing is a schlep.
Even though everything is so spread out.
Yeah, because you just get in your air-conditioned car. Just, like listen to music or whatever. It's nice. Everything's just like nice.
And everybody from here is out there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, the sad thing is like you don't see people as much. It's so much easier to like bump into people and like, oh, let's go have a coffee. Like it's a lot more like seat of your pants kind of here.
Yeah.
I miss that a lot.
Sure.
I miss the electricity of living here and being here and socializing here. And it's not like that there at all.
Right.
It's very different.
Yeah. And how has all of that shifting to the West Coast changed improv, do you think?
How is improv? Wait, what?
How has improv changed given the fact that so much of the heart of improv has moved out to LA?
Well, I'm sure for here it's really nice because it gives them some breathing space here because there's so many improvisers. And so when vets move away, I think I would assume it opens up a really nice space here for people to grow and take those spaces. I can't imagine that's not good. And so that it opens it up for more experimentation here, which is good. But in LA, how does that change? I mean, I think a lot of the people who started out in LA are probably like, oh, it's another New Yorker moving out here.
Okay.
I think that can be tiresome to them. But I mean, what I think it means for LA is that there's just this glut of amazing talent out there.
Yeah.
But also a lot of those people are talented, so they get snatched up by work right away. And so there still is, I like to think, enough stage time out in LA for everybody because a lot of the vets are so busy actually making money and working that they don't always have a lot of time to perform.
So it's a win-win-win-win-win.
I think so. I like to think it is.
Good. How do people keep in touch with you? Where are you online?
I'm on Twitter at Betsy Stover. I only have one E in the name Betsy, not two E's like a weirdo.
Jeez. And I assume it's the second letter is the one you kept?
Yeah. BTSEY. Betsy. So yeah, Betsy Stover at Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook. One of these days I'll get off my ass and finish that Squarespace website.
It's apparently so easy. They're not an advertiser, but apparently they're so. You listen to Mark Maron, it couldn't be easier.
All I know is I've been paying them about $8 or $10 a month for the last year.
And you haven't got the site.
So yeah, if you're a web page designer and you just want to make my Squarespace page, contact me at Twitter.
BTSEY.
STOV.
EEER.
Yeah. That's where I put the extra E there.
And our chair never showed up.
We asked the hotel for a chair, and Dave has just been sitting on this uncomfortable metal suitcase because that's where I keep all my cash and guns.
That's right. Hey, thanks for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
That's Betsy Stover. Captured while she was in town for the Del Close Marathon, and from what I hear in retrospect now, everything that went on was fantastic, and I expected nothing less. Especially when somebody is as fun and engaging and And as affable as Betsy is, you can expect lots of fun whenever she's involved in any show she does. And I'm just super glad that she took the time out in her busy schedule, her quick turnaround time, and the brief moment she was in New York to sit down with me, and I will be ever appreciative. If you want to follow Betsy's career, you can follow her on Twitter at Betsy Stover, and the link to her Twitter will be on the website in the show notes for this episode. And if you want to catch Betsy, well, just go out to L.A. and say, where's the Improv? Chances are that's where Betsy will be. Thanks, Betsy, for spending time and for showing me the almost Tokyo-esque hotel room you and your husband stayed in. That was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again. All right, that about does it for another edition of Bring Your Own Lunch. Glad you can join us. Thank you. Also, thank you, Banooba, banooba.net, BANOOBA.net. They're the band that's playing the music you're listening to right now. Go to their website, download their music, buy their music, go see them live, support them the way they support Bring Your Own Lunch. And don't forget to go to our website, bringyourownlunch.com, where you can find out all the information about Betsy and every other guest that we've had on this program so far, past, present, and presumably future. And you can send me a personal email, dave@bringyourownlunch.com. And if you want to do it on a social media level, that's okay by me. Like us on Facebook.com/BringYourOwnLunch. Follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. And go find our YouTube page and this and that and the other thing. And we'll all someday be together. Yes, we will. And really, if you have an opportunity, please go to iTunes and rate and review and subscribe to the show. And you can do that on Stitcher too. It's up to you, whichever way you prefer to download this program. I am totally okay with that. And tell a friend, would you? Share it. Hashtag it BYOL. Let me know that you're sharing it with people. If you do BYOL with a hashtag, I'll know you're supporting what we're doing. Let's make that a trending thing. Let's use the power of Twitter for good and not for stupid things that I'm sorry about. Stay tuned for Jimmy Jack's Cowpunch Hour, followed by Mansoor and the Fish. And until next week, when I have another great guest lined up, this is Dave. I'll see you next week. I'm really sorry about the fish.